News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. I was telling my friend Lori Waffenschmidt that there with the news that Blue Blondet is exactly what it's supposed to be called, Blue Blondet. And I actually said it's called, the full name for it is Blonde Blue Blondet. All right. I got a little bit more on Uncle Bozy being eaten by cannibals. We now have Peter Ducey asking KJP about this.
I agree. Second Lieutenant Ambrose J. Finnegan was a war hero, but the Pentagon says, for unknown reasons, the plane was forced to ditch in the ocean. Both engines failed at low altitude. Why is President Biden saying he was shot down? There's no evidence of that. And why is he saying that his uncle was eaten by cannibals? That is a bad way to go.
He lost his life. It's not. Look, I'm not. We should not make jokes about this. Wait.
President Biden said that his uncle was eaten by cannibals.
I mean, your last line is for a laugh. It's for a funny statement, and he takes this very seriously. His uncle, who served and protected this country, lost his life serving, and that should matter.
Well, she decided to overlook it and pretend it didn't exist. Not overlook it, but pretend it didn't exist and go to the, you're trying to make a joke and that's not funny. But you notice she didn't speak to the cannibals and Uncle Bozy being eaten. Possibly eaten alive. And I just want to hit this again before we talk to Mike in Frisco about Trump potentially going to jail in this pathetic trial in New York, but then also him being stripped of his Secret Service if he's sentenced to a felony and jail a year or longer, which is what was proposed by, that bill was now put up for consideration by a Democrat today. Powerful Democrat out of Mississippi in the U.S. Congress. But we should consider Uncle Bozy being eaten by cannibals. We should also consider maybe Uncle Bozy became a cannibal. And maybe he's still there in New Guinea. Don't listen to the professors and lecturers at the University of New Guinea who are offended by this. Or the governor of one of their provinces who is speechless and laughed at this. But first, I want to go to Mike in Frisco, who has called and been kind enough to wait for his moment to talk about Trump, possibly in this trial. Do you trust the jury? Do you trust the Trump? Do you think he'll get a fair trial? And do you support stripping him of his Secret Service protection if he's convicted of a felony and sent to jail for a year longer? And that is just unthinkable. Because what the prisoners will do to him is what the Democrats want to do to him. And that is, I can't imagine. This is so angering and sickening. Mike in Frisco, thanks for holding, brother. You're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on 93.3 FM WBAP.
Well, thanks for having me on and valuing my opinion enough to hold me over the break.
Yes.
Yeah, my opinion is very simple. It doesn't matter what happens in the courtroom for the jurors. None of that's going to matter. Can you imagine you being the only person in that trial to say Donald Trump is innocent? What would happen to you in New York City by the people? Everybody would try to destroy your life, your family, and your career. They will do anything to destroy you if you don't come up with the conviction they have decided you better do. And that's why it doesn't matter to me what the jury is. They're going to be under pressure to come up with one conclusion and one conclusion only, and that's Donald Trump is guilty.
Let me share with you, to really buttress that thought that you've introduced, which I think is very intelligent and smart. My friend texted this to me yesterday. So let me process this, he says. Because remember, there was a juror, a woman, and then she ended up dropping out on her own yesterday, I believe it was. 2 days ago. Let me process this, he says. A woman says she can be impartial and is sworn in as a juror. Then friends and family discover she's a juror, and now she can't be impartial. Is she afraid of the mob rule? Is there any conceivable way to panel a jury in this? Correct?
Correct.
So you think that... Go ahead.
That's exactly, and that was what brought me to this conclusion. What happens outside of the jury room doesn't matter to these people. You better come up with the conclusion that they want, or they will destroy your life, your career, your family life, whatever, because they want only one conclusion. And it doesn't matter what evidence is shown in testimony or anything like that.
If this,
and these New Yorkers are going to be under this pressure because they are not unknown jurors. They are now known jurors. People know who they are. So everybody's going to be able to determine who these people are and put that pressure on them.
Now, let's make this clear, too. This, again, really smart thinking on your part, Mike, and I really mean that. So this judge has decided that after that happened, that he's worried about these jurors being intimidated or people getting them, so he has now limited what can be said of them. As far as what their jobs are and everything. They say what their, and I've shared it with you, I had the list of jurors and what their occupations are and their abilities, their decisions if they've ever supported Trump or don't like him, and also where they get their news from. The jury will be, but I believe that you're absolutely correct, because they're in a community with 90% anti-Trump. 90% Democrat and 10% Trump voters. So what's going to happen here is I think that their community that despises Donald J. Trump will out them. And I think that a righteous, quote-unquote, juror will leak it, or a righteous, quote-unquote, press member will leak it, just like they've done with Trump's taxes and every other thing they could possibly imagine. So I think it'll get out there. Do you think there's anybody on that? Do you have any confidence? I mean, as I read through juror by juror in the last hour, I read at least two or three that I'm like, that one might be able to say it. That one might. Do you have any confidence that perhaps one or two people will do the right thing?
I pray that they would, but there's so much pressure against them that when somebody comes to you and say, I'm going to destroy your life, your career, your family, and everything,
right,
that even though you want to do the right thing, you're just not going to be able to fight the forces against you.
I believe that they will be chased out of Manhattan because there's so many radical leftists there and crazy Democrats there that hate Trump. They will destroy his or her life. And my only hope is that they do the right thing and they say, I'm doing this because it's right, and then I will go public because they're going to come after me anyways, and I will sell a book, I will do tell-alls, I will get money out of it, and I'll tell my story.
I'm with you there, brother.
I hope so. Thank you, Mike. Great call tonight. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Next, we're going to get into Governor Abbott was put on a very big-time list. And this is going to lead you, perhaps like it did me, to think that he's definitely going to either become Trump's vice president on the ticket, or that he will be holding and saying no privately, not publicly, to it, and then will run for president after this election. The details of that is next, and my questions on that are going to be about, should Trump make Abbott his VP pick, or do you think he'll wait and run after 2024? When you hear this list, I think it's going to reflect that one of those two is probably going to happen. Next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Governor Abbott, this is from WFA TV channel. Governor Abbott named one of Time Magazine's Time Magazine's named one of Time's most influential people, 100 most influential people. He made the list. I know Time is a leftist den of this or that, but the list is there's people on this list that I have heard about over the years that are very I very much agree in there. Let's see what it says, though. This brings to mind some thoughts. It brings to mind that Governor Abbott is exactly that now. Whether you like him or not, I know he's not as conservative as you and I want him to be. He's not as good as Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is the best Republican governor that I can think of that we've ever seen. And I mean that. He's been ahead on almost everything. He flubbed his candidacy, which shocked, I think, most of us. But he is an amazing governor, and he's going to be a formidable candidate for president when he comes back next time. Governor Abbott is, this makes me realize again why he's going to be picked by Trump to be vice president. And if he's not picked by Trump to be vice president, because I want to, then he'll be running for president in the next election, not 2024, obviously, but the next election. Here's why I say this. He is affable, number one. He's very affable. It is hard to not like the man. He has many positions that are accurate and are good. He is a happy warrior. He does not come across ever as angry. I don't think it's because he's acting. I think it's because his disposition and the way he does it. That makes him very, very strong politician. And I mean, there's a picture. I gotta put it up again. I had it for a long time when we bumped into each other at Texas Motor Speedway years ago, and the picture was perfection. You know how sometimes you get a picture with somebody and your eyes are closed, or their eyes are closed, or the smiles are off, and it looks kind of dumb, but you're like, well, that's still so and so. It was perfection. I mean, it was perfect. Me too, by the way. Like my smile, it literally is a remarkable picture to me. But you see him in there, and it's like, that's why he's a really good politician. Being in a wheelchair, too, makes it harder and harder to be so nasty to him. I'm being serious. It just does for his opponents. I mean, but here's why they say he is named one of Time Magazine's most 100 most influential people in the world for 2024. By the way, here's my questions for you to call in. Do you think Trump should make Abbott, I should say, his vice presidential pick? Should Trump make Governor Abbott his vice presidential VP pick, or do you think he'll wait and run after 2024? I think those are the two choices, and I think he's going to do one of them. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do you think Trump should make Abbott his VP pick, or do you think he'll wait and run after 2024, Governor Abbott? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Okay. So Time Magazine says, in naming him one of the 100 most influential people in the world, quote, during his 9 years, they call him a talented room reader. I would agree. During his 9 years as the governor of Texas, they say he's proved adept at simultaneously throwing red meat to his conservative base, correct, while tempering pushback from the state's liberal enclaves, correct. All the while, he has masterfully needled Washington through both unending legal challenges and agitating stunts, such as sending buses of illegals to Democrat cities. Now, that's not a stunt. The left and Time Magazine are leftists. The left called it a stunt, but it turned out to be the most brilliant and permanent game changer of all time in the battle against illegal immigration. He has forever changed the game from this point forward on illegal immigration. From this point forward, when a Democrat is in office, and we are flooded with illegals because that Democrat chooses to, and they want to have thousands and millions of illegals pouring in, they will be bussed by any Republican governor, anyone who is in charge of any state that gets the invasion. Any. And I'm talking about the next Republican governor of Arizona. And God forbid we'd actually get a Republican governor in New Mexico. There's just no question. That's what they're going to do. This has changed the game forever. And that is why I think he is such a happy warrior. He's become a national figure. He's been attacked by the New York governor, by the New York city mayor, by Chicago mayor, by Chicago's governor, by all of them, by the Denver mayor, by the Denver, every single thing and every one of them. He is a massive national figure who is a happy warrior, who is exactly what we want for the most part. Again, I'm not saying he's perfect. He's not. I'm not going to hump his leg. But from building the eighth largest economy, Time magazine says, in the world, to leading a historic border security mission amidst the prolific border crisis our nation has ever seen, one thing remains clear: where Texas leads, others follow. I am proud we have accomplished the work to building an even bigger Texas for generations to come, Abbott said in his statement responding to this. Jeff and Whitney here on News Talk 820 WBAP and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Yes.
I understand that Governor Abbott is a member of the World Economic Forum. I've only read one article about this, so I find that hard to believe. But if I were to find out that he really is, I wouldn't vote for him or Trump in the election. But I would have to know for sure. You know, I can't believe just one article that I read is what I'm saying. But
wait,
if it's true, go ahead.
What are you saying? You're saying you don't know if it's true that he's on that list, or you're saying you don't? What did you say?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the article was true that said that Abbott is a member of the World Economic Forum.
Oh, that you read? I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if that article's true, I wouldn't vote for Trump or any Abbott if he was vice presidential.
Okay, but if Trump picks Abbott, though, you will gladly support that. You're saying?
No, I will not. I will not vote. No, I won't vote for anybody who's a member of the
okay. But is Donald Trump going to get your vote right now?
You know, I don't know. I am looking at RFK. He just seems like a common sense guy to me. I don't know.
He's for the radical environmental stuff. You're okay. You like that?
Well,
he is.
No, I don't. I know he is. He's very environmental, but
he's not very environmental. He's all about the EVs and all the environmental regulations that are Joe Biden kind. They're the same thing. Well, so that's who he is. You're okay with that? You're on board with that?
I think we need Trump for foreign relations. I don't think anybody can
But you want
with him.
RFK Jr. possibly, and you're okay with radical environmentalism that he supports?
I don't know what his radical environmental views are, but
everything that I'm telling you the truth, though. I mean, you could just say you can keep saying you don't know, but right now you're saying he's probably got your vote. So I would just encourage you to look that up. Thank you for your call. Miss Monique, one of our best callers, is up next, and then Bill in Arlington as well. And the questions are twofold. As Governor Abbott's named one of Time's most influential people. There's more things they said here that I'll share with you coming up next. But do you think Trump should make Abbott his VP pick, or do you think he'll wait and run after 2024? And I guess would you support him on that if he did? Either way. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. 3 lines open. Monique, and then Bill in Arlington coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. Okay, so Governor Abbott named one of Time's most influential people. Our number, by the way, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Time magazine saying that Abbott remains one of his party's most persuasive pitchmen, especially on immigration, where he's consistently pushing the boundaries of what states can do for law enforcement, what he says, or what states can do for law enforcement. Whether Trump wins or loses, Abbott is among the contenders best positioned to eventually pick up the MAGA mantle. Whoa! So, Pat Mahomes is also on that list. The famed and very successful quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, my question for you on this is: do you think Trump should make Abbott his VP pick? Or do you think he'll wait and run after 2024? The venerable, the great Miss Monique in Fort Worth, one of my favorite callers, is on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey, Monique.
Hey, Chris.
How are you?
I'm just fine. Just getting off work, pulling into the parking lot at my house, finna go in. But I wanted to wait till you picked up.
Thank you.
So
You're kind.
My first thing is, normally when you think about a vice presidential pick, you think about the lead singer, and then you got the backup singers. Trump is the lead singer, and whoever his VP is going to be the backup singer. Now the thing with this is, I'm not a fan of Abbott. I love him. I love him personally. I even at one time, me and Cecilia, the first lady, was friends on Facebook.
No way. Interesting.
Yeah. And I talk so bad about her husband on there. If we not friends no more, that's why. It's nothing personal against him. It's all political, because I feel like he could have been a stronger governor. I feel like he could have done more.
Yes.
His leadership skills as far as the Texas legislature was not there. So my thing is, I feel like I don't care who Donald Trump picks as his VP, because if Ron DeSantis runs, although I was very pissed at him in this primary, if he runs in 28, depending on who's running against him, I'm definitely going for him. I never wanted Abbott to run. At first, I was like, I didn't want Trump to even consider Abbott as VP. But then I thought about it, and I was like, well, if you take Abbott out of Texas, then we could get Lieutenant Governor Patrick as the governor. And we could build on that, because I feel like Patrick is a much more stronger movement conservative.
He is. He's a real, genuine, 100% MAGA conservative, not what Abbott is. And I agree with that. But I'm glad. I was expecting you to waylay him, but you didn't, and that's impressive, because I know that he's not what we need him to be in any way, shape, or form. But he's, as you know, I would say he's the second best governor in the country right now after DeSantis. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even put him in the top 10.
Whoa, wait. I'm saying right now in the country, what other Republican governor would you put higher than DeSantis and him?
Was governor.
Kim Reynolds. Kim Reynolds. Kristi Noem in Dakota. Yeah.
Yeah. Her is,
you're right.
She's one of them.
You're right.
And I mean, Governor Abbott is just nowhere even on my radar.
Wow.
I mean, listen, I worked hard. I tried to work hard at least. I supported Huffines in the last primary.
Right. I like Don Huffines is a wonderful, sweet man. I chose him to for my son's I think it's first class or second class in Scouts. Don Huffines ran a troop, a conservative Catholic troop, I believe, and he literally, I picked him for the politician for my son to go to, and he was thoroughly impressed. It was me, him, and my son in the room, and my son did about 20, 30 minutes of all he had to do, and my son is so top-notch, and Don was beaming. It was so beautiful.
And you know what? I was very leery about supporting Huffines, because he got that little libertarian streak.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
One thing I despise is the libertarian.
Right.
I can't stand them. They're so snakish.
So, and then here's the other thing. I asked him for a tour to help me out for a tour with the Capitol with my scout troop, with the scout troop. This is probably 5-6 years ago or so. When he was in office still, and he personally gave us a tour. And then he also brought us into an outdoor kind of a foyer or something, I don't know what, and gave us talked to us about the Capitol, about history of our state. The man is a wonderful, sweet man, and I love that man for that.
And
I'll
you
never
know what?
forget that.
I think I remember you telling us
never
about
forget
that story.
That. This is personal, right?
Yeah, I think I remember you telling us about that story when he was running the primary.
Yes, yes. So now let me ask you this: are you okay if Trump does pick him, and would you be surprised if Trump picks him, Abbott, to be his vice president?
I would not be surprised, because of everything I love about Trump, the one thing I do not like about him, but it would never change my support of him, is his picks in these primaries. Sometimes he makes good ones, and then sometimes I'm just like, dude, what the hell was you thinking? Who is advising you? But I would not be surprised, and I would not be mad, because I know that I would be able to choose somebody else to succeed him when he's done with his 4 years.
Okay, and then will you be surprised if Abbott does run for president in 28?
I wouldn't give a damn, because I wouldn't support him.
But would you be surprised, though? Would you not be surprised? I wouldn't. Would you?
No, I wouldn't. I would not be surprised, because he wanted to run this time, but he knew his support just wasn't there.
Miss Monique, you are the best. Did you hear, by the way, tonight that the Democrat from Mississippi. He has proposed a bill that would strip Trump of his Secret Service protection if he's convicted of a felony and put in jail.
I thought that was the one from Maryland, but I did hear about it, and I thought that was just so stupid. Democrats are stupid. If they are nothing else, they are stupid.
Isn't that scary?
It's not only scary, but it's telling of where we are today. And then Republicans be wanting to work with these crazy fools. You can't work with people that want to destroy everything you know and love.
This is, I'm going to give you the congressman's name out of Mississippi, Democrat. Here he is. Let me go to his, I don't know his name off the top, but he
was the dude over the January 6th committee.
Yes, he was the head of it. Benny Thompson, Mississippi congressman.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Democrat.
And what you're talking about. I just think I can't stand that Republicans feel like they have to work with Democrats. You do not have to work with Democrats. If you don't get the majority you need, that means sit on your hands. That means gridlock the government. I feel that's what it means.
Miss Monique, you're the best. Appreciate you so much, okay?
All right.
Take care. Thank you. Bill in Arlington, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP. I should say you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hello.
Oh, I love Miss Monique.
Yeah, she's
you know
so
exactly what
spirited.
you think.
Yes, she's awesome. She's very spirited.
Like her, I supported Huffines, but that's not because I didn't like Abbott. I think Abbott's been great. It's just that Huffines, was much closer to my views. Interestingly, right after Abbott won his primary with 63% of the vote, he adopted two of the pillars of Don Huffines' campaign: eliminating property tax in Texas and school choice. That's extremely important, and he's spent a lot of political capital pushing these things with good success. He's got more to go, but we'll see. Well, to answer your question, this is just my gut feeling, and I could be wrong. I don't think Abbott wants to be president, but I could be wrong. I mean,
that's also I could see that. I could honestly see that.
I don't know. I'm he loves being governor. The tell, Chris, will be when we get to 2026, and if Abbott doesn't run for re-election, he's running for president. If he runs for re-election, he wants to continue being governor.
Say it again. Say the last part again.
What I'm saying, in 2026, if Abbott runs for re-election as governor, then he wants to stay governor. If he doesn't run for re-election, he's going to be running for president.
Right.
You see my point?
Yes, and then
that's the choice point.
I wonder one more thing, though. Do you think Trump might pick him for vice president? I think this is exactly why he probably will.
He very well could. I suspect that Abbott would probably turn him down, but I could be wrong on that. I just don't know. That's not somebody from Texas is not the right pick. You've already got Texas. That's the traditional way.
Well,
you
don't always pick the person because you will get a state. For example, Pence, whether you like him or not, and pretend that the January 6th stuff didn't happen for his disagreement and all that, pretend that never happened. He didn't get picked because he would win Indiana. He got picked because Trump thought he was the right guy, a moderate dude that would balance him out for the people to say yes. So if you look for a moderate person that would balance him out for people to say yes, because I'm sure he's very concerned about moderates this time around. That's what he's. I mean, the abortion stuff is massive. What he's doing for moderates right now.
Well, yeah, and I need to point out, Pence brought with him the evangelicals. I mean, he's a hero to the Christian right. So I think that was an important choice for Trump to solidify that part of his base.
But he's got that part of his base now. He's got that part of his base
fully now after being president. But some of them weren't so sure in the beginning.
Abbott, yes. Oh, I know. Abbott would give him the credibility of a Republican light, an affable warrior, a nationally known person that is not badly thought of except in the heavy blue states where it doesn't matter. Thoughts?
True, I agree, but again, I think it's going to be Abbott's choice.
Yes, I do too.
He really wants to do.
Bill, I appreciate
we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Thank you. Appreciate your great call tonight. All right, coming up next, we're going to have a little fun. I always like to do that, especially after tonight. I felt like I had a baby from that first hour, which we're going to get into in a little bit. And we're going to get into that coming up at 11. But right now, we're going to get into some fun. Another story about icing on the cake being messed up. Man is left baffled by disastrous frosting fail on his wife's 30th birthday cake after the baker misread their own writing. That is next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Well. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. Chris Crock program. Well, we have several stories to talk about tonight in this fun segment I always like to have when we're wrapping up this hour, the third hour of the program. Coming up next, we're going to get into the man who self-immolated in front of the courthouse, or by the courthouse there, holding Trump's case today. And then we get into Israel's retaliatory strikes against Iran, and tonight even in Iraq. And we're going to talk to a fantastic guest I love having on, Tara Dahl, former Deputy Secretary of the Trump's National Security Council, Tara Dahl. So that'll be great. She's coming up at 11:30 on the Chris Crock Show. So this man from Massachusetts shares details of cake confusion on Reddit, explained he had purchased the customized treat from a local bakery. The high school sweetheart's 30-year-old wife were left with a cake that was definitely messed up. He explained he purchased the customized sweet treat from a local bakery for his wife, whose name is Chanda, but was left, unfortunately, at a very horrible cake look. It says Hinty, Hinty, capital H, and it's cursive in purple. Her name is Chanda, and the cake shows somebody's name, Hinty. How is this? Oh my gosh. I'm looking at this and I understand everything. It literally is, it looks like Hirty, Hirty. Okay, that's cursive. Oh, that's like Hinty, Hinty in cursive. This is cursive and it says, if you look closely, there's a small little, looks like a little H. But it's TH, but it actually looks like H. Hirty, Hirty. This is great. This is absolutely great. I'm going to retweet this right now so you can see it yourself on my Twitter feed, at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, CHRISKROK. Behold the cake that I'm talking about. It's on there, up there now. Okay, so I guess he gave her the cake with the word Hinty on it. That's beautiful. The post was shared last week. Wife's 30th birthday cake confusion. The second image shows the finished result, which is something else. Anyways, there just says Hinty on it. So he gave it to the wife. And one person says, I'd be happy because I wouldn't be 30. I'd be Hinty years old. Another one says the joke can go for 9 years. Next one can say Hinty 1. That's pretty good. See, you got to have fun. There you go. I would absolutely show that to my wife. Don't say anything. I would tell everybody that, the kids or whatever, don't say anything to mom. Explain the story. Everybody laughs. And then when you pull it out and bring it out there, don't even say a word. That's what I would do if it was me and the kids. Because she'd be like, what? She'd be sitting there and you would ignore everything. Just pretend like everything's fine. She's laughing, going, what is this? Just keep singing happy birthday. That's what I would do. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? And then you can talk about the joke. That's my little idea. What else do we have here? NFL cast-off Colin Kaepernick lists his $3.4 million Tribeca condo as, quote, the former 49ers quarterback remains blacklisted after his national anthem protest. This is the best justice of all time. Leftist, Marxist, Nike, and others can give Colin Kaepernick big fat checks as much as they want, but he'll never work in the NFL again because he's not good enough. When you combine his skill, his lower level skill for the NFL, when you combine that with his being an insane, crazed media attention America hater, he's not worth it. Now listen, If he was an incredible football player, if he was a Pat Mahomes, they would hire him. Here's what happens. It's why what's the guy, the football player who was prayed on the field that the left hated? He was a Florida quarterback. Tim, what's his name? Tim Tebow, thank you. I apologize. I've been to a thing with his mom. I support him and I support his mom, but I'm just saying he was also, to show how I'm being totally truthful here and fair, which you don't have to be, I don't care, but he also was not worth it to teams to keep with the baggage he brought. And it was great baggage, don't get me wrong. But there was a lot of spectacle, a lot of media, and it distracted from the team, and he wasn't at the high level. If he was at a high level at Mahomes, they would deal with it. And same thing with Kaepernick. He's a disaster. He would be even harder he had to be even higher level. I'm being serious, because America hates that man. I shouldn't say that's a bad word. You shouldn't hate him. Despises him, or despises his views and rejects him, and they should. Not personally, but just his ideas are, he wants to destroy this country. That's just all there is to it. So there you go. I'm glad he's enjoying it, and I hope that it goes down to half the value because nobody wants to buy it because of him.